Hi everybody, welcome to episode 48 of the Teesside Business Podcast. Today we are very lucky to be joined by a very individual business, the first one that I've ever come across, never mind just in Teesside.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of a bio about yourself and how you got started with the business.
Yeah, so I grew up in Pannister Park in Borough, went to St Alphonsus Primary School, then St David's Secondary School. I was a terrible student. I found school it wasn't for me, I just got bored really easily. And when I left school, I started working in like sales and business development for a lot of years, a couple of pretty tough jobs, and then started working in engineering training for quite a while, and I loved it. I worked for Nita in Stockton and worked for Nordic and TTE. I love them guys at TTE. I miss them, but I just kind of sat down one day and thought, is this what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? I thought, what would my perfect life look like? I love food, so I thought I want to do something in food, and I just thought, well, it wasn't one of those businesses that came to me at any one moment. It was kind of built up over time, but there was a few little eureka moments along the way. So like I solo travelled in 2014. I went to Bethlehem in Palestine. I went to Jerusalem in Israel. I went to Petra in Jordan, about 7 or 8 different places in Egypt, and that had quite a profound effect on me. So when I came back to Borough, I started learning Arabic. I started eating in the little Middle Eastern places like the shawarma shop on Victoria Road. Oh my days.
There's some great shawarma shops in Borough now.
Unreal,
and stuff, isn't there?
I know.
There's supposed to be a very good one at the top of the road here, but I've never tried it.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's class. And I just it started to dawn on me. I went to I went to Baker Street and Bedford Street to the Orange Pit Market, and it was just like a proper epiphany. I thought, this is what I want to do. I'm walking along, sampling all the street food. You've got all the different sights and smells and sounds. And I thought, this is my hometown. And this could be anywhere in the world. Like, I'm looking up and down Baker Street thinking, I remember when this was like a derelict, dodgy street that you couldn't walk down without getting like assaulted.
I know.
So you look at it now and the redevelopment that's happened down there. And so they were a couple of factors that kind of moulded this idea. And I started, we've always had the likes of Central Park and Fellini's and stuff, but just in the last 5 years, like the explosion of restaurants in Teesside is inspiring, and started writing about it on Instagram and on Facebook. And then when I was looking and I was getting, even on Pinterest alone, 100,000 views in a month, I was thinking, wow, that's quite a good audience considering I spent zero.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, it's time to maybe do something. And I was cooking quite a lot, and my friends and my neighbours who were coming to my barbecues and stuff were saying, Peter, this is outrageous. Did you make this? I'm like, yeah. So, and that's kind of where the ideas developed, and it's gone all right. Launched just before Christmas, and within a week of launching, we had sales. It's mad. We can't believe it. Had sales in the USA, we had sales in Greece, we had sales in Sweden. So random, man. Just coming through. I'll write a post about spices, say green cardamom, for example, last week. And then within half an hour, the email starts pinging and it's like sale. It's just...
So the business, obviously, as far as I understand, and correct me wrong, is herbs and spices.
It's just spices at the moment.
Just spices, okay. So what made you, when you travel the Middle East and stuff like that, was it that kind of thing that made, developed a love of spices for you? And
Definitely, I was eating food in Egypt, and I'd only ever really been brought up on kind of English food. I love English food, and then when I'm tasting the food in the Middle East, it's like, wow, it's blowing my mind to bits. And then I'm going to the supermarkets and I'm buying the different spices that I need, because I've looked on Pinterest for the recipe to say shawarma, and then I'm getting it home and I'm making it, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I don't know. It's just...
There's something missing.
Yeah, definitely. So I started being really intense with the suppliers, and intensely vetting them, basically. And then it got to the point now where I've been cooking with spices for about 5 years, and I know which companies do the best for each individual ones. Yeah. And I just think maybe the supermarkets, I'm not knocking them, they're all right, but I just think they might have been sat on the shelf for a few years.
Got long sell-by dates and things like that.
Yeah, and just things like adding things onto them to give them more shelf life and stuff. I just think you go to Morocco and you eat a tagine and it blows your mind, and then you think, well, we don't have that in England. So what I'm trying to do is just inspire people to eat different food, cook different food. It's really therapeutic, to be honest.
Yeah.
I used to have really bad anxiety because my daughter was really ill a few years ago, and it took a bit of getting over. And when I was cooking and stuff, planning it out all day, thinking, right, I need some chilies, I need some chicken, I need some naan. Planning it out all day and then getting home and executing it and cooking it, and everyone's like, wow, Peter, that's mint. It's really therapeutic, actually.
I suppose it's like there's like a structure to it and a payoff kind of thing. If it's something that you can control and progressively get better at.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the suppliers, where is it? Like local stuff, national stuff, international stuff,
it's
or
mainly
everything?
international at the minute. So like, there's a few suppliers that I've been using for a number of years who I have a good relationship with. I really rate their spices, but they know that in the way that I'm trying to progress is important than myself. So with me being a company in its infancy at the moment, I'm trying to kind of avoid paying import tax on stuff at the moment. That's something to think about. Mm-hmm. But you'll see in the Morocco video that I posted last night, I got a few samples of things like Ras El Hanout and saffron and things like that, and the quality is outrageous. So I think what I need to do is, I've got a couple of destinations in mind to go and do a similar thing to the Morocco video that I shared on the Diablo Seasonings YouTube page. And I'm fancying a couple of different countries. Maybe just get to a point where I have a network of spice traders from the central markets, and maybe places like Lebanon and places like, especially India, is going to be a North Star for me, definitely.
So are you trying to take, like, obviously the great product that they have in these locations, but kind of package it so it suits a Western market, or that kind of thing?
I'm trying to be as authentic. It makes sense. I'm trying to be as authentic as I can. So like, if something's hot, like the madras powder that we do, I'll say, it's hot, you need to don't use as much. What I'm trying to do is like educate people on how to use it. So for example, last night somebody bought quite a big portion of jerk seasoning. Jamaican stuff, I love it. And
I went for honeymoon Jamaica. I absolutely was phenomenal.
Is it unreal?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's on my list of countries to visit. I still haven't been yet.
I absolutely would. Like, the people are amazing.
Well, if you notice, the colours of the Diablo Seasonings logo are red, yellow, and green, and that was like a nod to my love of Bob Marley. So,
I went to see Bob Marley's like resting place in his tomb.
Did you? Was it unreal?
Yeah. It was brilliant. Class. Like when it was at like the hill and everything. Yeah, it was great. Like,
that sounds unreal.
I
was having a meeting with someone the other day, and they spent some time in Kingston.
And
they said it was one of the roughest cities they've ever been. Like, it was on Ross Kemp, the place where he was playing basketball. Stephen Pugh was. He's a really nice guy, and he was out there playing basketball, and they came over and said, "Well, what are you doing playing basketball here? It's like one of the most dangerous parts of the country." Fair play to him.
From what we saw, there was places where there were dangerous places and they were just honest with you. Like, look, if you are a white British person,
you will stand out a mile.
Yeah, you do not walk down it. But I wouldn't walk through Grangetown. Like,
it's a fair point.
With a load of, because if you've got a football top on or a nice pair of trainers or whatever, you're pretty much walking down the street with cash in your hand.
You're advertising it. Of course you are.
Because
it's like, you're right there. Like when I went to Palestine and I signed into Bethlehem on my Facebook, people are messaging me like, "Peter, are you for real? It's Palestine. What you playing at?" And I said, "Well, I know people who've unfortunately been killed in Middlesbrough, and it can happen anywhere. Like, don't think you can have that fear." It's like the travel advice by the UK government. I mean, it's there for a reason and stuff, but a lot of countries I've been to, they've said don't travel to, and I thought I'd rather experience it for myself and find out. And it's been fine.
I think if you've got, like, from what we saw, you just got a bit of sense. Like, there was a bloke, like,
got to be streetwise about it. You know what I mean?
There was a bloke like that was mugged, like, in the same hotel when we were there, but he literally were like 2:30 in the morning.
Did he have a bomb bag in that?
Well, walking along the beach in a Man U shirt and stuff like that with a nice watch on and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
why would you do that?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm down with a football shirt. I'm bad for that. Like, but wearing a flashy watch.
But they ask you like if they can have it when you go and stuff like that, or your flip flops or something like that, because it's worth like.
I gave away so many football shirts. Always bought tops, obviously.
Yeah.
In Egypt, I spent a lot of time going to Sharm el Sheikh. I used to use that as a base, so like we'd go to Sharm.
I've been to Sharm a couple of times.
Whereabouts did you go?
Oh god, I can't remember now.
Nama Bay, Nabka Bay, Shark.
If I was asked to my wife would know instantly. I'm terrible. I just know that we went to Sharm a couple of times. She loves it.
Was it like a big mental market where you stayed?
Yeah.
Nama Bay. I really like it.
Yeah.
Egypt's a cool country. I think they're like us. When I started learning the Arabic a few years ago, and then we went back to Egypt, and I'm not like fluent or anything. I can get by. And I remember being sat in a restaurant, and one of the staff came in, and they were all ripping him about his shoes. He had red shoes on. They're all taking a mickey out of him, and I said to myself, like, they're all ripping him here about his shoes. It's like, that's like walking in the pub in Borough with something I know your mates are saying. They're just like us. They're like Northern Englishmen, definitely.
It's great. Like, I really like that. Like, she was. Like, obviously, there was a travel ban on not recommended to go there for a while, so she's been really, really good. So, is it kind of like the end consumer that you're looking to sell to, or is it like wholesale to restaurants, or even educating like bars and restaurants on stuff? Like, or is it both? Like, what kind
I think like the beauty of it being 2020 now, right? There's so many different sales channels. So like you've got the individual home cooks. I'm one myself. I love to persuade people to look. Don't eat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking fish finger sarnies. They're unreal, but I just say like don't be eating like plain food. You don't have to. Make some jack seasoning. It's unreal, and it does seem to be resonating with people, but. Say I would love to supply restaurants and love to supply caterers. To do that, I know which accreditations I need to work towards. So I'm working towards a SALSA accreditation, and I will get there. And it's the same with like retailers as well. So I'd love for the packages to be in retail shops, health stores, and things like that. But like the way things are now, you've got so many different sales channels. So sales are coming through Facebook, they're coming through Instagram, they're coming through Pinterest. Coming through Twitter, they're coming through Etsy as well. Same with even like Amazon and eBay. If you do fulfillment by Amazon, which we're going to be doing shortly, you literally package up your product and you send it to Amazon, and
they take a percentage.
They take a percentage.
Yeah, we do it for clients,
and it works, you know. Yeah. So I think like if you are thinking of starting a business, there's never been a better time in history. That's the really. You get all these people now who are like big names in Teesside business. You know, like the likes of like Wilton Engineering, Bill Scott, for example. Just a guy I really enjoy listening to, and they built their businesses without social media. Warriors. Yeah. Imagine trying to do that now. Front of the Yellow Pages, they used to call themselves AAA, whatever. Yeah. To be that was like being the top of Google back then. Oh yeah, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, it's great when you listen to how they'd like developed like certain things, and it's one of the great things about this podcast. There's been so many great people who kind of built large businesses who said like that they did it this way or that way, or you know.
I think when people like that are speaking, you need to take note because for so much experience. Like with me being a company in our infancy, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and have a chat to you because I've looked at the podcast and you got some massive names on there. So
you know, we have been very lucky through a combination of. Good timing, the people wanting to come on the podcast. We've got a great audience, and you know, I've had like friends and stuff. I've still got. There's still been people out there who I won't name and shame, but like who I would love to have on the podcast. And they've said no.
Right.
Like not because they just don't think it's for them, but big people build insane businesses in Teesside. I would love to have them on, but we would have anybody on. We've had like. I'll give him a name drop actually because he'll really love it. Still, our biggest podcast that we've done by far is a company called Robust Tours that based in Darlington.
I know one.
By a huge margin.
Really, that's had the most views, the most interaction.
And beating guys like Ben, Andy, you know what I mean? Like some big people who've got some great businesses, and it's just because he's got like such a fantastically engaged audience.
Good stuff.
Or they just love the channel. So if anybody wants to come on, and, you know, he's the man to beat. Good
stuff. Okay,
but not through anything that he's done. Like it's not like he went out and paid a load of money.
It was just a moment in time. He's
He's great. He's a great guy.
Anybody can hack the culture now. So the thing is, like, you for an example, I could go next door to that sandwich shop. Awesome, by the way. I could buy some nice food. I could take a photo of it, right, and I could recycle that photo to make. I could post it on Facebook and Facebook stories, Instagram stories, Snapchat, Twitter, LinkedIn. You have to kind of alter them a little bit for the different audiences. But if you post like one picture across 8 different platforms and then you make 3 different pieces of content a day, there's 24 pieces. And if you're putting that into the system every single day, then your company name, along with the product that you're trying to promote, is appearing as a tag throughout Google constantly. So Google's algorithm works by thinking, right, this company should start appearing really high in the rankings. Anybody can do it. You know, that you get people who are doing jobs at the moment, people who I know, and I used to be one of these people, I understand, doing a job that you're not entirely passionate about, and I get that everyone's got bills to pay and stuff like that, but if you're doing a job that you don't like, what are you doing when you get home? Are you sat chilling watching Netflix and then going to work thinking, I hate Monday mornings? When you get home, you could be sat researching a product and building a business.
Definitely.
You know, there's 24 hours in a day, and when your kids, if you've got kids, I get that. I used to wait till my daughter went to sleep, And then I'd be sat just constantly reading, immersing myself in literature about food and cooking and things like that. And there's a lot of companies, I think, in Teesside who go to all the street food and the farmers markets and stuff, who I think I've got a lot to learn from. People like the Screaming Chimp, the hot sauce. I think he's really good at what he does. He's hacked the culture, definitely. He's got an army of supporters.
Guy, I can't remember his name.
Neil.
Steel River Gin as well.
Oh, yeah, smashing it,
Yeah, they're doing really well. But again, using their product and combining it with Teesside cultures,
It's unreal. Like it's those kind of people that we just mentioned, they've had an idea, and then to see that developing and like a growing, thriving business. For me, as a young company, to see that inspires me, and I think, well, I can do that too. And the start has been pretty positive. There's orders coming in at least every other day, and I just need to keep building that up, I think, and building that audience. And I'll never stop doing it forever. Plus, I think it's really interesting, and you'll probably think this too, when you're creating video content that you're putting out there, interesting for your kids to watch in a couple of decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that, like, we've talked about in the past on podcasts and things like that. Like, there's, it'll never be there before, like your social, whether, but then again, the opposite of that, there's a lot of people who don't realise that will be there forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've had people come to us and kind of say, look, we put some stuff out a few years ago that's still on Google and stuff when we were young and stupid, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Can you help us get rid of it?
Right.
And we have been able to,
Yeah.
Like
I think they should maybe do, talk about it in schools maybe when people are really young, because we've all been young and daft at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a different world now. So like when, I don't know how old you are, you'll be younger than me maybe, I'm 33 and
I'm older than you.
Happy days.
That's a massive compliment.
No
Thank you very much.
When we were teenagers, and if anyone was a little tearaway, there's no video evidence to get people in trouble now, but a kid these days could make a mistake and then that could follow them around forever, which is...
Well, we've had it with previous businesses and things like that. People who've gone, obviously, we won't name any names, but where they were a stage in their business where they are either wanting to do bigger scale deals or go through venture funding and finance to raise capital.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay.
And basically, a lot of it now, there's background checks that are done on people before they invest.
Of course.
So they're like, we don't want this out there. But it's not who I am. That's who I was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which, is a lifetime for...
of course it is.
Or a very short amount of time, depending on you look at it. But, it is a factor now. So what are the next kind of, a big thing that we want to do on a podcast is, try and connect people together. So a lot of people podcast, what kind of people are you looking to have conversations with and speak to, especially in the local area that can help your business grow?
Okay, thanks for that. Places like little independent food stores and things like that, or the health stores, and you get your local newsagents and things like that. Just the little independent food shops, they all stock a few spices, and I'd love to just be there on that shelf as part of that. Same with the catering as well. So I'm actually a senior contributor for TripAdvisor, and I've been in the top 5 for the most reviews and the most helpful votes in Teesside for about 5-6 years now. So what I like to do, and I've been doing it for restaurants around here for a while, don't ask for nothing in return. I like to go and review people's restaurants and big them up as they rightly deserve. And if they would consider, maybe instead of going to the wholesalers and the cash and carries and stuff, if they would consider having Diablo Seasonings provide their spices and seasonings, then I'd really appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because I think when you're spending money in a big supermarket or a powerhouse like your Asda's, etc., or even the cash and carries, you're kind of funding MDs who've been in business for years, whereas if you're supporting an independent business, that money is literally going to be spent on the local economy and just constantly flooding back into the economy, and it's just good for growth, I think, for the local area. It is.
It's something that especially if people aren't in business, they don't kind of locally realise that when you give money to a local business, it's not them and their staff you're giving it to. They will be using local supplies, and it's their staff and their kids.
That's it.
And then they spend money and stuff like that. So it does and I know there's been Andy and Ben and stuff have had a massive push on local
doing
growth.
A lot of good work, aren't they?
So I know that it's something that's grown and grown, and we're great at it at Teesside.
I think so. It's a unique place. I've been to, in the last 10 years, if I rewind to 2010, I'd been out the country once when I was about 8. I went to Florida as a kid once, and then we weren't really kind of travel kind of family. And then in the last 10 years, I went to London in 2010 with my missus, and I got wanderlust, and then over the course of the decade, I think I've been to like 350 different cities and towns just through sheer passion, because I want to visit different cultures and stuff. And if I take a step back and look at Teesside, a very unique place. I think it's really cultural. I think the people are really passionate. And with me working in engineering for years, quite close to the steel, the steel industry and what happened to that. I organised a lot of funding to get these guys into training, and just seeing the grit that Teessiders have. It's in our blood, isn't it? The town's built on industry from 1830, 1850, whatever it is. And since the town's inception, we've got graft in our blood, haven't we? So
we have, which works to like our benefit, but sometimes on our detriment as well. Like one of the things that we talk about with a few people is that if you go to, Newcastle, Leeds, start, head south, etc., one of the most popular things that people do when they start a business is raise capital for it.
Yeah.
We don't do that in Teesside. What
True.
People do is they get their head down, they do it for a year or two, and then they pop their head up and go, right, what grants or what help can I get? Yeah. Or can I get investment or something like that? But when you go everywhere else, there's a culture and it is changing, like there's things like Venture Fest in Teesside, the Umi and the guys over at the Teesside Business Company do phenomenal work with grants and stuff like that to help people. And there's more and more. I know Ben's just announced another 35 million, but I might be wrong.
It's a big figure though, that's it.
Yeah, 35. I'm going to go with 35. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. Fund for local business. I don't know how it works, etc.
Yeah. You got that Prince's Trust for younger people as well who want to build businesses. I know the job centres doing a lot of decent work, kind of giving people leeway when they first start a business and stuff like that. But I think it's an interesting point that you're saying about venture capital and stuff like that. It sounds weird, but I'm enjoying the struggle. My sister said to me a couple of days ago, she was like, haven't you thought about getting like a business loan just so you can buy some more equipment and stuff? And I'm like, no, because I'm loving like writing posts, and then a few sales come in, and then I invest that money that's came into the business straight back onto the business. And it's going to take probably a lot longer without getting, there's 10 grand, Peter, go and invest in your business. But I'd rather build it from scratch and do it myself. And
usually it's like it's horse for courses, you know what I mean? Like it's
what suits some people don't.
Yeah, exactly. But it might not be, the right type of thing for anybody at all. I just wish it was a bit more widely available, because I think there's a lot of people that would probably benefit from at least having that information, kind of thing. But Teesside's fantastic. Like when we started, the very first start of the podcast, I don't know if it's true now, but we had the highest number of startups than anywhere else in the country.
That's unreal.
But when you look at 80% of startups fail within the first year, you know what I mean? There's also that kind. There needs to be that kind of like. It's great that people have got the grit, but there also needs to be the education.
There needs to how to run a successful business.
Exactly, but there is, there's like Prince's Trust, Digital City, and things like that. They're doing great stuff on like educating people and stuff like that. But I would. I've spoke to like a few people in the podcast who are like, we are worried about that now. Because what's going to happen is that it's just inherently the way it is. 80% of all businesses fail in the first year. 50% in the first 3.
They're just facts.
There's no other way. But
so much info on YouTube though as well.
So much,
I always remember. I can remember watching The Matrix, and Neo gets plugged in, bang, he knows how to fly a helicopter. It's not quite as quick as that, but you can get plugged in and just learn how to do anything from YouTube. I learned Egyptian Arabic through YouTube. We're teaching our little girl to speak Dutch now, and she's getting there, man. She's only 4. She's got some phrases boxed off just through YouTube. Our grandparents didn't have this.
No.
And people 50, 60 years ago were still building thriving businesses. So I took a step back from my job a year ago. I sat and thought about it. But it would be criminal for me not to take advantage of. I think social media is a cultural phenomenon. Like, in 100 years' time, people can look back at now, the way things are, probably as a bookmark, the same as you do like the printing press and the Industrial Revolution and all that.
When Windows 95 first came out.
I remember dial-up, definitely.
That's something that people can't get.
I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting yesterday, and I was chatting to a couple of guys. There was one of a bit of an older fella, and he said, but we haven't grown up with social media. He said, well, you couldn't drive when you were a kid as well.
Exactly,
I mean?
It's a skill that that you've got to learn
how to do anything. LinkedIn's a particularly interesting one for me at the minute. Like, if you post something on LinkedIn now, the natural reach is unreal. So, like, if you do a selfie video, which a lot of people like to do, you can end up getting thousands of views if you use the right hashtags and things like that.
Yeah, especially at the moment. It's our business. obviously that window of opportunity will come to a close. And
Of course it will.
You know, same as
Exactly.
Facebook did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
if you go back like 6-7 years, if you post something on Facebook, you get thousands of views. It's tricky now to do that, you know.
yeah, the only thing that doesn't change it is, but there's obviously the noise is Twitter, because
Yeah.
there's no like algorithm based.
Tell you what's really helped me on Instagram to bring in followers all the time, right? So I'll do it every night. When we go to bed or whatever, I'll be sat on my phone and I'll scroll through my newsfeed. And my newsfeed is tailored, so I'm constantly just seeing restaurants around here and foodie related pages. What I do is I'll leave a comment, I'll try and add value. So say, for example, someone posts a meal or whatever. I'll try and get some interaction, so I'll comment and say, oh, what did you use for that? What spices did you use? And I'll do that for 4 hours every night.
Yeah.
I'm trying to become like the electronic mayor of the town. And I'll just be constantly leaving comments and saying, oh, it looks awesome. I love dogs as well, so I'm constantly commenting on people's...
You're lucky the dog's not in today.
Oh, what dog have we got?
Lola, she's a German Shepherd, like a black German Shepherd.
Beautiful.
Yeah. She's not. We don't put her in because she just wanders around and knocks stuff
Honestly.
over. But yeah, she's normally kicking about.
Got a Weimaraner / Tasmanian Devil. She's
I was
bonkers.
going to say Weimaraner is a bonkers. Yeah. Lovely dogs though.
I love
Lovely
her
dogs,
to
though.
bit, you know.
So
I meet a lot of people when I'm out walking now.
you do. I always say that dog walkers are some of the kindest people you'll ever meet.
I take business cards with me every time I go out walking
Yeah.
because I'm constantly meeting. I've had loads of sales from walking dogs.
Well, you do. You just end up chatting, don't you? You go
Course you
around
do.
the dog's plate and stuff like
That's
that.
what I like about Teesside. People are really personable and really friendly. Like, I when I've travelled, I've met people from around the world now. I've constantly got visitors from other countries. Our lasses are always like, what? There's another American lad coming to stay. There's one coming on the weekend, lad from Colorado. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He's coming to stay with us on the weekend, and they always comment. I love Teesside. It's a really friendly place and stuff, and it's a good place to have a business because what I've found is, by being truthful and just saying, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my best, people rally behind you and they get behind you and they wish you luck and things like that, which maybe wouldn't happen if you were 300 miles south, you know.
Maybe, yeah. And I think that people have kind of got like a good filter now that when you're not being genuine, people can kind of see through it.
Definitely,
You know, same with,
There's nowhere to hide. Social media's there, you know.
Yeah, and it's, you'll get caught out if you're trying to be something that you're not.
Exactly.
So when people come on the podcast, we ask everybody the same 3 questions.
Okay.
I'll tell you the 3 questions in order first, and then we'll go back and visit them. So the first one is, what does success look like to you?
Yeah.
The reason we ask it is because we've had such a diverse amount of people on it. We've had every answer.
Yeah.
We've had when I'm a millionaire, when my business is this size, when I employ this many people, when I can take a massive step back and spend with my family. When people say I am now, like success is what I've built, like anything and everything you can imagine, like we've got. The second thing is, have you ever had a setback that's put you on the path to like something really, really good in the future? So like we ever at the time it seemed like the end of the world, but actually through those circumstances it led to something else. We've had people who've been made redundant, but it led them to start their own business. We've had somebody who had like 5 strokes that actually led them to lose a lot of weight and start their own business and stuff, like a really good. So divorces, like death experience, like the full thing. And then the third one is just something that you are really into or obsessed by that's not linked to your business currently.
Okay, that's a really good one. Okay.
And I've changed that recently. People will notice because so many people just say my business that it's like there's no point in asking people who own their own business what they're obsessed by because it is the business generally.
It becomes a major obsession. I think like you'll wake up on a morning, first thing you think about. At it all day, sat up till late at night, and then like I'm having dreams where I'm like mixing spices and that. My missus says, it's on your brain, man. It's constant, you know. You
wake up, or you're dreaming that you haven't mixed up a spice that somebody's ordered or something like that.
Yeah. You have a notebook by the bed. We all do it.
Right, so we'll go with the first one.
Okay.
Is, what does success look like to you?
Happiness.
Yeah.
Happiness. Short answer.
But kind of like a lot of people say they want to be happy, which is great, problem. But what does that like?
Look like to me?
Yeah, like does that mean general like contentment? Because I always think, me personally, happiness isn't a state of being. Like, because you have highs and lows.
Spectrum,
yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can be happy, like overall.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be highs and lows. So kind of like, what kind of like, how does it classify?
I think like
to
if
you?
I'm able to just run the business that I love. So just writing about food, mixing spices, making seasonings for people, getting good reviews. Like when the Google reviews and the Facebook reviews have started to flood in, and they're really positive, I'm buzzing with that. That makes me really happy. And just the freedom of not having to, for example, when I worked in engineering, I would have to go up to Aberdeen and do exhibitions and stuff. I wouldn't be able to choose the exhibitions I went to. It would be like, Peter, you're going to Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Whereas now I can say, I'll do Sedgefield Farmers Market. It's on a Saturday. I want to watch my kids grow up. I don't want to work away. I want to be able to pick them up from school and take them to school, pick them up from school, and not miss out on their childhood.
Yeah.
So just being able to do life on my own terms. If you're your own boss, you've got to graft on your business, obviously, but I just think the opportunity is there for anybody who's listening to build the life they want. I got terrible GCSEs, but I've just always grafted, had a few hard jobs and stuff, and I think that tenacity gets you through, definitely. I think to summarise, happiness is the answer to that question.
Yes, absolutely, it's a phenomenal answer. But then, kind of not the reverse of that, but have you ever had a time that was like a setback or something where you had your head in your hands, but that's actually led you to have either an epiphany or led to something that's a bit better down the road?
I tell you what, I wouldn't say it was one particular moment of unhappiness. I'd say it was like from 2003 till 2014 when I started working at NETA. So I started engineering in 2014. For those 11 years from leaving school, I did door-to-door sales, man. I did telesales. It was horrific on another level because the thing is, door-to-door sales in America is quite it's seen as quite a high job. Like people, you can do that job. You're really good at what you do. But in England, obviously, it's not really seen as a really good job. And I would be getting guaranteed verbally abused on a daily basis. I would go home and think, I've been told to F off 50 times today. It was just one long period. I wouldn't say it was like massive unhappiness, but I would go to work and it was horrific. Telesales as well all day, just constant all day long. And I worked up in South Shields doing like energy broker thing, and some people are really good at it, they really enjoy it, but I detested every second of it. I felt like every time I made a phone call, a small part of me died forever.
It's just a time.
It was horrendous. But I think that the mad thing is that 11 years taught me that the jobs that I would do after that seemed like heaven compared to that. So literally my work in day to day is coming and having a bit of banter with you, which I love. I'm going to go home, I'm going to write some content. I've got some orders to fulfill, so I'm going to mix some spices. I'm going to listen to Oasis while I do it, and I'm going to have a bloody good time. And if I think back to maybe 2013, I was glued to a desk like a ball and chain, wasn't allowed to leave without saying I'm going for a break. And it just wasn't for me, So I think that big long period of just doing jobs that I actively detested, I can look back on that now and think, well, this is awesome. So
yeah, absolutely. So then one thing that you are really into, obsessed is a very strong word, but that really you're enjoying. We've had gadgets, TV shows, movies, computer games, anything and everything. We've had so much.
I don't really do things by half, so I don't ever think I'm a little bit into something. I get deeply into things. I adore music. I love music. I go to music festivals in the summer and let my hair down. There's a couple of things I'm obsessed about which are involved in my business, things like food and travel. I think you can link them with Diablo Seasonings, but
it's very, I could understand how they could be very separate as well.
The travel, exactly. So I'll go to Amsterdam in the summer because it's one of my favourite cities. I think the culture's amazing, and I probably won't make a video. I won't make a food blog out there.
Well, there's only so many blogs you can make about chips and mayonnaise.
Real, man. Oh, the patak specials are real. I like the stroopwafels as well.
The food is good over there.
I know. There's loads of nice Argentinian steakhouses and stuff.
Oh, right.
Same with Indonesian food out there as well.
Okay.
There's a lot of difficult, as you would expect in any city. I'd say the main things I'm interested in, not to do with my business, I love football, although VAR, changed my mind a little bit. Football, I love boxing. I really enjoyed growing up watching Ricky Hatton. All my friends and my brother and my pals, we'd all get together and we'd stay up all night and watch the boxing.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, we still do it nowadays for Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and people like that. So it's always like every few months we'll have a catch up, a few of the guys we grew up with. And the boxing, football. I really like cars as well. I like go to car shows and stuff like that.
That's
so
fun.
my missus can't keep up. I'm just constantly spinning loads of plates.
So. there's certainly a lot of ways.
My main passion is my family, though. Like,
Yeah,
that's
of
my
course.
primary objective. Got my little girl who's 4, and we've got twins imminent.
All right.
Yeah, she's in hospital now. She's just in for a couple of checks today, and then she's getting started off in the next week. So we're going to have like twins as well. I started a business as well as having a Weimaraner, so it's intense time.
Yeah,
I
that's a
thrive
lot.
on it.
That's a lot of things.
I love the challenge, man.
Yeah.
It's for me. It seems to get the best out of us when I've got adversity to try and rise through it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for anybody listening who wants either any more information on Diablo Seasonings or where to buy them, or just on food, etc., how to use spices, where the best places for them to get in touch?
You can go on literally, if whatever your favourite app is, if you love Pinterest, search Diablo Seasonings on Pinterest. I've been pinning like a nutter every day for a lot of years. So if you go Diablo Seasonings, check my boards out. You've got Jamaican food board, you've got Mexican food, Lebanese food. I could go on. If you like Facebook, it's quite a traditional social media method. Search for us on Facebook. I'm constantly putting videos and recipes and facts about spices on there. Same with Instagram, if you prefer that, look on there. Or if you just want to get yourself an order and you want to cook some nice food, just go on the website diabloseasonings.co.uk. I've just started a YouTube channel, so I'm making documentaries out in random countries. So I recently went to Rabat, which is the capital city of Morocco, and we made a documentary out there. It was the gist of it is me. I'm boring, I am who I am. I swear a little bit and stuff, and I can't help it. And I've been quite good though today.
Yeah.
And it's just me just wandering about in the central market, standing out like a sore thumb. I went there to find the central market because there's loads of spice traders there, and we made a decent video. So I posted it last night, and the positive messages have been flowing, man. Like, my inbox is full of people just saying, that's awesome, I really enjoyed watching it. Even if it inspires one person to go and book a flight somewhere, I'm happy with that, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause it's really changed my outlook. I think travelling in the world, it really broadens the mind, and it really changes your outlook. I think when you've been to like Africa and the Middle East and you see the poverty out there, and then you get back to England and people are complaining because they put onions on the palm on and didn't ask for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, ridiculous things.
Yeah, like ridiculous things, first world problems. And I think if you stand back and have a bit of perspective, living in Teesside's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on.
I've really enjoyed it. Anytime.
This has been the Teesside Business Podcast. The Teesside Business Podcast is promoted and produced by Person to Person Marketing. Thanks very much for listening.